one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when you slap Nicolas Cage and tell him to snap out of it.
Yes.
How many times did you get to do that scene?
I think we only did it. I think we only did it twice.
That's it?
Yeah.
Did you bring that side of act home with you?
No. It just was. We did it once, and then Norman decided do it twice, and so we did it twice, and we already were set up for the shot, so it just worked.
I would be honored if you were to slap me and tell me to snap out of it.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's a one time and one time only.
Prince Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson's son, he's been on ET, he's now getting into acting. What kind of advice would you give Prince Michael as he gets into his father's business?
Oi, that's an odd way to preface that.
Well, but
How about this just young man? It doesn't matter whose son he is. Like, just stop that.
Any budding actor.
Stop it. That poor young man, already you're like categorizing him as his father's son. He's this person all into himself that wants to have a voice in some artistic endeavor, in some artistic voice. He has to make his own. He has to make his own imprint, his own vision as to what he wants. It doesn't matter whose son or daughter or anything he is, and good luck to him. It's a tough business. It isn't friendly.
What would I tell him? I tell him to go to New York, do some theater, learn to act. Anybody can be a personality or, famous. Everybody can't act.
What's your fondest memory of making the movie Pulp Fiction?
Fondest memory? I guess hanging out with John and, getting to know Quentin for the first time and realizing he was the kind of filmmaker he was and the amount of fun that he has making films that translated to the amount of fun that I have making films. It's just a great experience.
Why do you think fans embraced that movie so much?
I don't know. I just think it tapped into a horror that a lot of people have, being in a situation where they're adored by someone that they can't stand. So I know when I read the book, Stephen King it was the worst thing he could have imagined as a writer, somebody telling him he had to keep writing horror novels, I guess. And I don't know, I'd like to do it all over again at a different age. I'd like to bring Annie back.
Prince Michael he works for us part-time. Now he's going to give a shot at acting on 90210. What kind of advice would you give Prince Michael getting into the business? What have you learned most in your career?
I just came back from visiting my teacher that I had way back in the 70s, William Esper. He teaches the Sanford Meisner method, and I've always thought that was a pretty good method. I think anybody who wants to call themselves an actor should do the duty, should really go to class and really earn the ability to call themselves an actor. I don't care if they're Michael Jackson's son or not.
Well, it's very interesting to see how some young talents who come from a sort of pedigree don't use the last name. They deliberately choose to allow themselves to be separated. Others, sell it like hotcakes. I think there's pressure no matter where you come from and no matter what your circumstance is. Generally, the pressure that I think younger people who are connected to someone who's done quite well is that are they going to be as good, are they as talented, or did they just get there because daddy or mommy made a phone call? And look, I got no problem with anybody who gets an opportunity to get into the door, but once they're in that door, they got to deliver, and that takes real focus and dedication and real genuine work, and you can't rely on what you think your talent is.
It's a classic now, whether you like it or not. It's a classic.
I like it. Anytime that you can feel, and I've always gotten it from people that stop me on the street and people that write to me about this movie, or people who quote lines to me when I'm standing in Starbucks line. This movie has stood the test of time, and not only has that always been a sort of motto of the AFI, but it's an incredibly humbling, and I'm very honored that we've been included. It's such an extraordinary group of actors who are here tonight in films. They're iconic films. I've been really lucky in my time. I feel like I've made a couple of movies that are going to be around for a while and people will be watching, and this is certainly one of them.